Hi, my name is Ellie Weimer. I'm going to be reading If America Were a Village by David J. Smith, and I dedicate this reading to Tegan. Alright, let's go. Who we are. Look closely at the faces of the villagers, and you will see a rainbow of colors. Americans come from all races and from all over the world. Some are newcomers, but others have been here for many generations. In our village of 100, about 13 are foreign-born. 6 of these have become U.S. citizens, while 7 are not yet citizens. Of the 13, 7 were born in Latin America, 2 were born in Europe, 3 in Asia. The remaining person, remember, one person represents 3 million Americans, comes from Africa, comes from Canada and Oceania, an area that includes Australia and New Zealand, and the islands in the south, west, central Pacific. 75 are white, 12 are black, 1 is Native American, and 4 are Asian, including 1 from China and 1 from the Philippines. The remaining 8 consider themselves members of some other race or mixture of races. What language do we speak? 82 people in our village will speak English as their first language. 10 speak Spanish, 1 speaks Chinese, 1 speaks French, and 1 speaks German. Many other languages are important in the United States, but not are widely enough spoken to represent one whole person in the village. From the most widely known spoken to least, these include Tagalog, Vietnamese, Italian, Korean, Russian, Polish, Arabic, Portuguese, Japanese, French, Creole, African, and African languages. Greek, Hindi, Persian, Urdu, Gujarati, Armenian, Hebrew, Khmer, Yiddish, Navajo, Hmong, Scandinavian languages, Lithuanian, Thai, Hungarian, and many more. America is a country of immigrants. Almost every person in the United States can trace ancestors back to other parts of the world. If America today were a village of 100, 15 would be of German ancestry, 11 would be of Irish ancestry, 9 African, 9 English, 7 Mexican, 6 Italian, 3 Polish, 3 French, 3 Native American, 2 Scottish, 2 Dutch, 2 Norwegian, 1 Scotch-Irish, and 1 Swedish. The rest have other backgrounds. That is quite different from when the first U.S. Census was taken in 1790. If America had been a village of 100 in 1790, 53 would have come from England, 19 from Africa, most of them slaves, 11 from Scotland and Ireland, and 7 from Germany. The rest of these various backgrounds, including French, Swedish, and Native. Early on, most immigrants came from Europe. That began to change in 1900. 96% came from Europe, 1% came from Latin America, and 3% were from other places. In 1950, 53% came from Europe, 40% from Latin America, 6% from Asia, and 1% from other places. In 2000, 15% came from Europe, 49% came from Latin America, 31% came from Asia, and 5% came from other places. Where do we live? Today, 80 of the 100 people live in cities and suburbs, while 20 live on farms in the country. But it hasn't always been this way. A huge change has taken place in just 100 years. During the 1900s, many Americans moved from the country to the city. In 1900, 40 people lived in towns and cities, and 60 people lived in the country. In 1920, 51 people lived in towns and cities, and 49 lived in the country. In 1940, 56 lived in towns and cities, and 44 lived in the country. In 1960, 70 lived in towns and cities, 30 lived in the country. Today, 80 live in towns and 20 live in the country. Americans move around a lot. In 2007, 17 of the 100 people moved. Of these 17, 11 moved within the same state. 5 moved to a different state, and one moved to the United States from another country. People are not evenly spread across the country. Americans like to live together near other people of 100 people. Half of the population live in just 9 states, 12 in California, 8 in Texas, 6 in New York and Florida, 4 each in Illinois. Pennsylvania and Ohio have 3 each, in Michigan and Georgia. The remaining 50 people live in the other 41 states. The 5 least populated states in total of not only one person. Yes, the populations of Wyoming, Vermont, North Dakota, Alaska, and South Dakota all put together is just over 3 million people, or 1 person in the U.S. village. What religions do we practice? There are many religions in America, but not all the people are religious. If you ask people in our village what religion they practice, here's what they would say. 82 consider themselves Christian. Of these, 54 are Protestants, 24 are Roman Catholics, 2 are Mormons, and 2 practice other Christian religions. 2 are Buddhist, 1 is Jewish, 1 is Muslim. 4 practice a wide variety of other world religions, such as Baha'i, Sikhism, and Taoism. 10 consider them non-religious. About 40 people in the village attend to religious service every week. Those numbers are quite different from the rest of the world's. If the whole world were a village of 100 people. 32 would be Christians, 20 would be Muslims, 13 Hindus, 11 would practice folk religions, 6 Buddhists, 2 who would practice other global religions, 1 was Jewish person, and 15 who are non-religious. America has so many more Christians than the world has become because of its history. Most of the early immigrants were from Christian countries, and they brought the religion with them.